So I've got 2 heart transplants. It started when I was about 13. I started having chest pain, and they diagnosed me with a murmur. And I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I thought it was just a way for me to get out of PE. I didn't have to dress out. So, I lived with that in my life. I learned how to control it, and I would just stop whenever I was having a problem. And it lasted till I was about 40, and I was actually diagnosed with congestive heart failure when I was 40. So I got my first heart transplant when I was 43 in 2000, April 15th, 2000. So I was all good for a few years, and I had a little bit of trouble with that heart. Finally, I got chronic rejection in 2009. They put me on the transplant list again, and I waited almost a year, and I got a call December 3rd, 2010 at 5:45 in the morning. And I thought, what's Emory doing calling this early, forgetting that I'd been on the transplant list for a year. I picked it up and they said, Lester? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, we think we got a heart for you. And I said, oh yeah. And I went down and I got my second heart transplant. And as I was recovering in the hospital, Dr. Vega, who's the surgeon at Emory, he did both of my transplants. He came in, he was checking me, and I just said, I play the lottery all the time. If I was to win the lottery, who would I donate to? And immediately he said the Georgia Transplant Foundation. So I started thinking about that as I was recovering in the hospital, and we decided to do an event called Angels of Life. So our first one was July of 2011. We had around 450 people there that night. We raised $31,313.13 for the Georgia Transplant Foundation the first year. So I'd really love for everyone to please come to our 3rd annual Angels of Life to support the Georgia Transplant Foundation October 13th at the Cobb Energy Center.
What's your goal for tonight?
Tonight is $29,000 our goal. So we'll hit $113,000 in 3 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Hello. My name is Melissa Carter. I'm formerly with The Burt Show, currently the host on B98.5 in the mornings. I am honored to be here at the Angels of Life 3rd annual event. Welcome, everyone. It is brought to you by 313 Salon, Spa, and Boutique and benefits the Georgia Transplant Foundation. And one of the reasons I'm honored to be here tonight is because next month I celebrate my 11th anniversary of my kidney transplant. So I blame Lester for making me tear up backstage talking about the beauty of life and the beauty of GTF and everything that donating life, the power that you have in your hands to donate life and the power you give us to continue living. So tonight's benefits, well said, Melissa, I'm in radio, the Georgia Transplant Foundation. Now, the Georgia Transplant Foundation was founded in 1992 by kidney transplant recipient Tommy Smith. Now, Tommy saw firsthand the financial burden that accompanies an organ transplant. He literally watched his fellow recipients make decisions on whether to pay for essential daily medications or pay their mortgages. Tommy and a small group of physicians, social workers, and business leaders set out to start GTF and ensure that no one would ever go without the medications needed to maintain a life-saving organ transplant. In the early days, GTF was run by volunteers under the guidance of the founding board members. Well, these volunteers answered hundreds of calls each week, providing financial assistance, grants to transplant recipients in need. The woman we're honoring right now, her name is Pat Rochford. She was one of these dedicated volunteers. In 1999, Pat became an official employee at GTF and had the role of administrative assistant. From 1999 until now, Pat has pretty much enjoyed every job at GTF, including answering phones, planning fundraisers, managing staff, and awarding financial assistance. In 2010, Pat was promoted to Executive Director of GTF, and this is the role that Pat is most proud. Founder Tommy Smith would celebrate each of GTF's milestones and successes, but would remind the staff that we are not done yet. Pat strives to ensure that Tommy's vision and compassion fuels GTF's programs more than 20 years later. Under Pat's leadership, GTF provides more than $1.2 million in financial assistance to needy transplant recipients each year. More than 2,000 recipients, candidates, and living donors receive GTF services every year. If GTF does not keep Pat busy enough, she's also a proud wife, a mother, and a grandmother. She's most happy surrounded by and entertaining her loved ones, and she stays young by keeping up with that 2-year-old granddaughter, Caitlin. She's very giving, she's very loving, and it shows with her family, GTF, and with everybody she meets. I am proud to bring to the stage right now, Miss Pat Rochford. I will let you know, for those who know Pat, she did not expect this tonight. This was a surprise. So we all got our notes. I was the only one that had the notes for this. So we had to bring Pat backstage a few minutes ago because we knew that if we surprised this to her in the audience that she might not come up. And they were right, she said. So Pat is the kind of person that spends her life and has dedicated her life to helping others. I love you, Pat. But you deserve this attention, so I'm going to stand you right here. Stand right here, okay? I'll stand near you. Just stand right there. Don't feel self-conscious. Look out there. Will everybody please give her a huge round of applause? That wasn't so bad, was it? Yes, you can do it back at them. She's giving you applause back at them. Again, GTF would not be as successful without Pat, and we love you. Thank you, Pat. All right, I will release you now. Now, I'm going to introduce to you 4 transplant recipients, and you're going to hear their stories and their struggles of receiving the transplant and the blessings they have after either giving or receiving that transplant.
Hello. How are y'all? My name is Brittany Duckworth. A little over 6 years ago, I had an emergency liver transplant due to Wilson's disease. I was 18 years old and otherwise, for the most part, completely healthy. I was in complete shock. One day I was going to work, and I was in my 2nd semester at Kennesaw State University, and the next I was staring death in the face.
I am Chef Henry Chandler, Henry's Louisiana Grill in Acworth. I'm the proud father of 2 wonderful kids, Liam, he's my 14-year-old, our 15 now, and Danielle Grace Chandler, they just got accepted honors program LSU, God bless her. And my wonderful wife, Miss Claudia. If it wasn't for her, trust me, I would not be on this stage.
I was a type 1 diabetic, diagnosed at the age of 8. For 35 years, I took 5 shots a day. Now, if you want, you can do the math on that. 5 times 365 times 33. How many want to take that many shots?
Without further ado, I would like to bring on stage my twin sister, Tiffany Duckworth. Hello. I'm Tiffany Duckworth, as you just heard. I'm not a very good speaker. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've always been very free-spirited, and as my papa would say, stubborn as a mule. As you already know, the year 2007 was the year of my sister's transplant.
I'd have to say that was the most traumatic thing I've ever been through, including my own transplant. I was at work in 2011. It was the end of July, and couldn't stop throwing up. And I went to the ER, and from then on it was pretty foggy. I was transported to Piedmont in Atlanta, Georgia, and had my transplant on a Monday.
On September 2nd, 2008, my whole world changed. I received the news that there was a liver, and all the people on the prayer chain, God and a lot of you out there had been praying for me. I received the news that the liver was there. It, of course, came in an igloo like they do now. It seems like they'd find something better to transport them in. And it was a match. Yeah, baby, hallelujah. It was a match.
I said to my doctor, what do we need to keep me out of dialysis? Because I figured that'd be the death knell for me. And he says, we need to start transplant protocols now. I went, wait, what? Transplant's just a word until you're faced with it. And at orientation, they said, if you want questions answered, if you want to talk to somebody, you can get a mentor by contacting the Georgia Transplant Foundation. They can help you with funding. They can help you with your job. They can help you with insurance problems. They can get you in contact with the people you need to talk to. I said, wait a minute. You can get me in contact with somebody that's been down this road? I never knew I could dial a phone so fast. And within 30 minutes, I had a phone call back. This mentor answered the phone and said, you're not alone. Welcome to the family. And it's a big family.
My story is slightly different than those that you've heard this evening because I'm not here to tell you the story of myself. I'm here to tell you the story of my mother. And now on March 28, 2011, my mom became a hero. Actually, my mom was a hero long before that. She was one of those women that was made to be a mom. She was always volunteering at school activities, packing your lunch, putting stickers on your sandwiches, and writing notes on your napkin. She made homemade Play-Doh, Halloween costumes, and birthday cakes shaped like little bunny faces long before Michael's was around.
The doctor did my blood work, and I'll never forget the look on his face when he came in and told me my liver was failing and they had no idea why. That was the clearest memory I have during the entire process. Wednesday came and they still didn't know why my liver was failing. They knew I needed a transplant without a proper diagnosis. You can't be placed on a list. Dr. Gull at Kennestone discovered my illness, and I thank God every day that he was able to come to the conclusion because it was indeed Wilson's. I was placed on the top of the list in 7 states due to my severity, and the race was on. The doctors kept coming in and telling me that no matter what, they needed a liver before the weekend. It was completely unheard of to find a liver in just 3 days. God is good. He blessed me with a miracle. It was a perfect match.
We made the best of life with everything that it threw at us. We took care of my dad together. He suffered from kidney failure. Always coordinating doctor's appointments, medications, taking him to dialysis, and laying by his side as he finally gave up his battle and passed away.
Here comes the angel moment for me. As I woke up to the sound of the charge nurse, Janet. And you want to talk about somebody who looks like an angel? Somebody with shock white silver hair, okay? But I wake up to her telling my wife, she says, yes, the pancreas started functioning even before we could get the kidney in. The kidney is now in, and it is functioning normally. And his blood sugar reigns. His blood sugars are within range. They're normal blood sugars.
You understand now why Lester's calling this the Angels of Life, because everybody that's come up here has talked not only about their experience, but there's names involved with all of these experiences. And so we as transplant recipients know that it took a team of people to get us here on this stage. It takes a team of people, like everybody's, my girlfriend Katie Jo's in the audience. And I couldn't be standing here without her. I don't know where she is, but I couldn't be standing here without her. It's not 11 years after the transplant. So we know that a team of people not only kept us alive post-surgery, but are keeping us alive today. And, like Brian said, we don't take it for granted. We celebrate our birthdays. I turn 11 next month. I feel like
the doctors thought I had brain damage because I was so calm about the transplant, but in my heart, I knew that God was looking out for me and He had a plan. And so I was content with everything. I'm sorry. It's still kind of fresh, so I hate talking about it, but I'm very thankful that I got a transplant. And it's been difficult, but at least I got a second chance, because some people don't. You got it, too.
Now that I've made my 5-year mark with my transplant, I've been able to realize that work is definitely not the most important thing. This year, 2013, I've been able to take more time off than I have in the past 12 years. Life is very, very good to us, and spending time with Claudia, Liam, and Danielle made all the pain, suffering, and sickness fade away.
I do it to keep a promise that I made one fatal day in March when my mother was killed in a freak accident that severed her brainstem. She was life-flighted to Atlanta Medical, where she was treated by the best trauma center that anyone could ever ask for. However, with all their talent, skill, commitment, and dedication, they could not save my mom.
I want people to know that the GTF, the Georgia Transplant Foundation, supports people that are, on the list waiting for a transplant. People who can't afford their insurance, people who are maybe without hope if they don't have the Georgia Transplant Foundation. I think it's a very important organization. 85% of the monies they collect goes straight to the people they help. I know personally the struggle that I've gone through in my life, and without transplants, I wouldn't be here.
I was given the gift to tell the story of a hero that I love and am so proud of. See, when your family member is an organ donor, you never tell the story of their death. You tell the story of their life and how the final act of their life was that of saving another.